Let's do it.
All right. Hi, everybody. It's Rick and Brett here with Chiro Destiny for Tuesday Night Live, and we have an amazing guest. I would say probably the #1 chiropractic company in all growth over the last couple of years. Just super happy to call him a friend. Matt Prados coming in from California in his backyard, sun shining, living the dream. Matt, thanks for joining us, buddy.
Absolutely, man. Happy to be here.
So Matt, I'm going to jump in for a second.
Yeah.
So Matt runs a company. They're expanding beautifully, quickly. Probably one of the, I would say the fastest growing company in chiropractic. Probably one of the fastest growing companies in the country right now. That is Review Wave, which you probably heard us speak about. Rick and I are still in practice. Our coaches are still in practice. And we highly recommend Review Wave. We use it ourselves. And for those who are not sure about Review Wave, I'll let Matt get into it a little bit, but it's about automating everything. So tonight is going to be more or less about marketing and automating your practice, which is an absolute must in today's environment. So Matt, why don't you tell us a little bit about the journey of Review Wave, where it's currently at, and what exciting things are happening in the world of Review Wave and marketing, and how we're moving this profession forward.
Absolutely. So the journey of Review Wave started a little bit over 3 years ago when I was running another company of mine, Gotcha Local, used to be Chirotraffic. And we basically needed to solve getting reviews for our clients because we did an analysis. We saw the guys that did the best had the most reviews. So we thought, simple, let's get more reviews. But what we did in starting to create software is we really opened Pandora's box, because over time and different evolutions, we realized it wasn't just getting the reviews. It was, how was the patient journey, the patient experience? How did the whole thing go? Because even when we did the software, there were certain guys that were getting reviews before that just got massive numbers of reviews. And the guys that were getting no reviews got some reviews. So it didn't quite solve everything. So we had to really just continue to dig and peel the onion back. And, we just had an amazing time working with incredible guys like yourself in the industry and being able to get the insight to what problems were happening. And then, rather than give, faster horses like Henry Ford talks about, we figured out how to build cars. And so we really changed a lot of the game of how chiropractic can be delivered systematically, technologically, and the journey just continues to be a rocket ride. Our guys are having an amazing time, huge success, more new patients, easier, less stressful practice, etc. So that's just that's kind of the quick view, and then we can dissect this thing and dive into different things. But how far back you want me to go as far as any of that stuff I just mentioned?
Well, I mean that it's good. I think it gives people a little idea of what it's all about. But what I like most about it is that you seem to crack the code. I'm a huge fan of automation, procedure. How do we open up capacity, do things faster, better, more efficient? And I've been with other companies before Review Wave came around, but none of them quite couldn't get there. When I joined with Review Wave, it all came together and it happened quick. That's what I love about it, is because as soon as a patient comes into your office and leaves, they get, feedback, the potential to give positive feedback. And if it was poor feedback for whatever reason, you can nip it in the bud. It doesn't go live or anything. But if it's positive feedback, and 99% of the time it is, or close to 100%, you can post that right away. So that's right after the first visit if you're doing a great job. And then along the way, it sets it up as intervals. So the reviews is one thing, but now it became an all-in-one. It's about how to run your practice with it in terms of sending out appointment reminders where patients then can change their appointments, book appointments. And then I want to talk a little bit about some of the new things that you're bringing to the table with the forms that you're doing now and care plans, which we'll get into in just a few minutes. But I want to tell the audience how you started to expand beyond just reviews, because I think that's really important. I don't want you just to be another review company, because there's a bunch of them out there, but the way you expanded into these other roles, I think really separates you from other companies.
Yeah. So, as we started to get traction and a number of clients, they started talking about, well, we're paying you for reviews. We're paying this other company for texting. We're paying this other company for scheduling. And exactly. All these
They spent a lot of money doing it.
Exactly. And none of it worked perfect, right? Everything worked okay. And so each time we kind of took the next step, we said, okay, we're not just going to be we're not just going to do texting the way everybody did texting. So what's wrong with texting? Why don't people understand texting? Why don't they use it as much? And so a lot of companies were using those little short codes, 6-digit numbers, or they were using just random local numbers, or sometimes they weren't even local, just random numbers in general. And my entire career, over the last 11 years in internet marketing and design was always, how do we make it so brain dead stupid that anybody could do it? Like, you don't have to think about it. It's just like, oh, that's so-and-so, right? It just had to work seamlessly. And so when you think about a patient getting a random text that just says, your appointment is scheduled for tomorrow at 3:00, it's like, who is this and what appointment and where is it? Like, there's so many things that don't work. And so when we really figured out all the technologies to where we could get the actual office number to be the texting number, and we could turn that front desk into a smartphone, the change of just that plus some proper templates, the right communications, and again, automating it. So everything we do is templatized, which gives you a working system out the box. Is it 100% the best for your practice? It might be, or you might be able to tweak it a little bit for your personality or, your patient base and the culture or whatever, which is fine. That's the whole reason it's based on templates, right? But at the end of the day, anybody can turn it on and it's going to be better out of the box than whatever they've got now. And that was our goal is we're not just going to do something. We're going to be the best at it. Right. So we were definitely the first in chiropractic as far as review companies to get in there and automate it, integrate it with the EHRs and be able to do it in as few steps as possible and achieve, check off all the boxes to where it was just seamless. It made sense. It was once every 30 days. It wasn't every single visit. The tracking was right. The posting, sharing them to Facebook and putting them on your website, all the pieces that just make it the review section perfect. We nailed it. Right. Then we did the same thing with texting. You use your office number, everything seamlessly works. Now you can actually have a provider app on your phone. You can check your text messages on the go. You can respond to them from your phone, yet still text from your office number, right? Yeah. So many docs literally go around and give out their cell phone number and can get called in the middle of the night or this or that. But now you can have this, barrier where it's like, yeah, you can still get a text, but it doesn't have to, be intrusive in your life when you don't want it to be, right? And so definitely feel like we've nailed texting. Obviously, we always work to slightly improve, look for things, wherever we can polish it, but texting is pretty solid. The next big thing we saw was having a website background, online scheduling, right? The world is going to this, different view. They want instant gratification. They don't want to request something. They want to buy it right then and there, or they want to schedule right then and there. And so we dove into that. And I mean, I'll tell you, some of the biggest EHR in chiropractic, ChiroTouch, having talked to their executive team, they had spent years trying to develop online scheduling that worked just in their one EHR. And it was just recently, sometime in the last couple months that they've released something that kind of works, but it's limited compared to what we do. But I mean, we took that on and we've cracked it to where online scheduling works seamlessly. Any type of appointment type you want, multiple providers, multiple locations. It not only with ChiroTouch, but Platinum, Genesis, Eclipse, Hereford, all the main players in the EHR space. And in putting that in, because I have so many websites that we run, we got to see that when we took that code and we made it online scheduling versus request, an appointment, 2 to 3 times more people would go through that process versus just the old school opt-in form. And so no matter what you're spending, whether it's $0 or, a couple $1,000s a month on internet marketing, if you can get a bump of however many web forms you're getting right now by 2 or 3 times, it's absolutely massive, right? Massive game-changing play. So, we buckled that in.
So for those people who do things like Facebook marketing, Google AdWords, any other digital SEO type marketing, patients then they could just request. But you're right, since you converted where they can make appointments, we've done that in our office where people are now just making appointments because they have access to our online scheduler. Right. And then my staff then just calls them, gets whatever information they need, confirms it, and we're good to go. If by chance we need to change the appointment, we can. But because it's such an easy way to make an appointment for the potential new patient, they're doing it versus now I got to go through these all these hoops to jump through in order to make an appointment. Nobody wants to do that anymore. Everyone wants ease and quickness. You're right.
100%.
So I think it's a great point.
And in actuality, you can have a different form, a different online scheduling form on your general website. You can have another one on your landing page for AdWords. You can have a different one on your landing page for Facebook. And so you can track which patients scheduled from Facebook, which scheduled from AdWords, which scheduled from your main site. And so you can break down your marketing and not only increase the ROI, but finally track it in a real and meaningful way versus just, oh, you got, 396 leads in 24 hours, but you can only reach 2 of them. So, I mean, it's not really,
Right. So you were dealing with, obviously, you guys had also come to us, through Brian, and he came and spoke to our group as well, where you always take other people's feedback as well, because you're constantly looking to grow and evolve, where, you, like you said, you recommend people get a chiropractic coach because they've got to get you from point A to point B. And it tended to be that chiropractors were a little less sophisticated when it comes to details of online marketing, search engine optimization, using social media effectively. We can handle the communication part, the headspace part, the procedures and systems.
Yep.
But now you have sort of that integration where people are utilizing technology and you're trying to make it as simple as possible. The best part is now you've almost thought of every piece of what weren't they doing well, and where doctors, we would say, probably had the most difficulty with confrontation, right? Where they couldn't get their staff to make recalls, you're handling that. You couldn't get people to schedule in advance, you're handling. So you're taking a lot of the confrontation, whether it's communication problems, fear problems, and you're automating it.
Yep.
The
100%.
The other thing I wanted to ask you, just from a standpoint, what Brett and I just learned about you is that you have a huge chiropractic family. I think you said 80 chiros in your family.
80 plus chiros. I don't know if you remember, it was probably about, maybe 20 years ago now. Sports Illustrated did a big old spread with a big spine with Terry Schroeder.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. So my parents were in that picture there and whatnot. That's our extended family there.
Wow.
And so now, like you said, you've obviously connected with some of the biggest players in chiropractic from the EHR side, from the technology side, from the coaching side. Just as a sort of fly on the wall, where do you still see the questions that you get most from chiropractors in terms of growing their practice? Not only just from what you guys do, just in terms of just general practice growth. Where do you see some of the limitations still are that we can help them with?
The biggest thing that I see in chiropractic is people still look at, how can I save a buck versus how can I take 1 and make it 3, right? And so it's like, Review Waves $299 or whatever. Well, if I can piece it all together for $279, I'm saving $20 a month. That's a good thing. No, that's not a good thing, right? Or, just everywhere where you can kind of cut corners versus really experiencing, well, what is the ROI of this, right? I mean, from a coaching standpoint, I've spent probably $300,000 on coaching in the last decade. On the low side, I would say that's a low estimate. Coaching is unbelievably valuable. Got to do it. You got to continue to, hang out with people that are doing bigger things than you're doing to keep your goals bigger than you are, right? If you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room, right? You gotta keep pushing yourself. But chiropractors, a lot of them are too comfortable. They're content with their life. They're making decent money and they're working a cushy schedule and life's just kind of good and going. But I mean, as a profession, and I very much consider myself as part of the profession. We're not serving enough people. 10-14% of the population getting chiropractic care. If that, depending on which chiropractic math we use. It's certainly not enough. And in today's world, and whatever board wants to take my license away, which doesn't exist, and the immune system and all this stuff, I'm going to talk about it anyway. Chiropractic is going to help people be healthy. It is what it is. But not enough people. I didn't even know there was a part of chiropractic that didn't think chiropractic helped boost the immune system. I just I caught a lot of flack. People were very mad at me. I got some hate mail. I actually never got hate mail before.
Wow.
I said something about that when this first came out. I sent out an email about, you guys are so essential, and you're warriors, and the world needs you. And whew, man, I got some crazy hate mail on it. But
welcome to the family.
as long as you're testing, I'm happy with you. Get out there and do it. But it's just chiropractors have to kind of get out of their own way in a lot of ways, which is, we found that with the reviews. They didn't want to ask for reviews. They didn't want their staff to ask for reviews. They felt their patients were different. They didn't have Google accounts. That's how Review Wave came out. We said, we're gonna completely bypass the office. We're gonna automate it for them. And then all of a sudden it was like magic, but it wasn't really magic because we were just asking properly, right? And so each time we kind of took the long agreed upon reasons it can't be done, when we took those out of the way, it just works, right? Because people need chiropractic, and if you do it right, you serve your patients at the highest levels, you're going to be able to have success. But you need these systems, and so a lot of chiropractors today, they don't want to give up control of their schedule, is what they say. Online scheduling won't work for my office because my office is different, right? Does every chiropractor not have the line, my office is different? I mean, whether you're talking,
you don't understand in my area.
You don't know my area.
Yeah, we get that all the time, which is ridiculous.
You don't know my area. It's one zip code over from where you live, but you don't get it.
Right.
It's not different. Business is business, man.
People are people.
And people are people. I mean, I have ran businesses. I have coached businesses. I have served software to businesses everywhere from all the way through the U.S., Canada, Puerto Rico, all over the place. And at the end of the day, there's business principles that just work, and automating processes definitely work. Communicating properly to people, it definitely works, right? So it's not that they're giving up control. They have to learn to get coached through how to delegate the control, whether it's to a person or a software, or to just stop doing it. Because if another person or a software can't do it, besides treating, it probably isn't worth your time, and you need to stop, right? And that's how we'll expand as a profession.
And it's funny because I don't look at it as necessarily giving up control. I look at it as more of opening up your capacity to serve more people by doing this way. And like you said, when you learn to delegate, and you can still retain control, and control means not having necessarily to do it all yourself, because every time you think you can do it better and you have to do it, you're just creating more capacity for the practice, and the practice can't grow. One of the things that we coach chiropractors on is how to eliminate anything that's inhibiting their capacity to grow. I mean, and this is one of them. So it's to open the floodgates up, and we'll help any chiropractor that's struggling in order to do that. We'll help you, and we'll coach you through that. But you're 100% right, Matt. It's not about necessarily giving up control. It's how to create, more capacity in terms of seeing more people.
Yeah, absolutely. I forget which early on entrepreneur said it, but there's a quote that goes something to the effect of, I'd rather have 1% of 100 people's work than 100% of one person's work, right?
Right. Yep.
And it can't be more true. I mean, in the last 3 years, I've learned, prior to 3 years ago, we grew chiro traffic to maybe a half a dozen people. It was never it was huge. We kept good systems. We had a lot of automation. It was a lifestyle business. But when we got into this and we really started to push and serve hundreds and then thousands of people, it was like, we can't have a very small shop for this. So we've literally gone from 3 part-time people to 30 full-time people in 3 years. And so we've gone from working from home to working in 2,300 square feet to working in 5,000 square feet. And as of August 1st, we'll be in 12,500 square feet. Wow. Right. So it's this massive growth. And I had to go through that evolution myself of, I used to like to control everything because I could do it perfectly and I knew it would be right. And now I've got to be able to train people to do it at high enough levels that, it continues to be what it is. And it is a tough game. It's a new game. It's exciting. It's fun. And I love it. But that is, on a bigger scale, because most chiropractic offices don't have 30, employees. Right. But that is the same. It's the same thing chiropractors go through is, going from, one CA and maybe a part-time back office and outsource your billing to now, well, what if you had 5 people or 10 people working for you?
And multiple doctors, if that's what they choose, or whatever the case might be. Right.
even multiple locations, whatever it may be. Hey, Winnie, it's okay.
Even Winnie's excited.
Come on, man.
Multiple doctors, she's ready.
Right. So from our side, we'll ask a doctor, you let us know what your dream is and we're going to help you build it. Right. And some of those things are helping them, like you said, they've got to sort of spend money to make money, that prosperity consciousness and the ability to see return on investment. And it's not hard to evaluate. It's pretty quick. And again, you know, Brett and I have been looking in this space. We always, as part of our job, have to evaluate talent and technology to see what's out in the marketplace. And for what used to exist, let's say 5, 8, 10 years ago to what you're creating now, it's just the next evolution of almost prognosticating what these doctors need in advance of them even knowing they need it, and just having the answer for them. So all they have to do is focus on, as you said, give good care, create a great patient experience, and let us do the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, they'll help you to train. We'll help you to train your team. You'll help automate the system so the patients are seamless. And so when you started and you knew that these reviews were so important, talk for a bit about the social media aspect and how important reviews still are compared to 3 years ago when you started.
So, I mean, reviews are just going to continue to get more and more relevant as time goes on, because, you know, you go to the restaurant, you know, in outdoor dining these days, but you're at the restaurant. What are people doing? They're sitting there on their phones. There's 4 people at a table looking at 4 different phones, right? The connection between most of society is, you know, on a face-to-face basis is going down, but the connection here, it continues to go up. Right or wrong, tell your kids not to get cell phones. I get it, but you're a business owner today. That is the reality of life, right?
100%.
So while, you know, three years ago, I think it was like 70% or something of people trusted online reviews as much as a personal referral. Last survey, it was 85 plus, right? So, I mean, it continues to grow, and it's only going to grow more and more. I mean, I don't buy anything without reading the reviews. You know, we have a funny story of owls up there in our chimney. They've had babies. They do this every couple of years. We gated it when they left last time. They ripped the gate off and to move back in. Whole thing. Anyway, my wife, you know, they're leaving. I'm like, we got to get a chimney sweep. It's got to be clean. She's like, I got somebody. I was like, great. What was the reviews? She's like, oh, I didn't check. I said, no, we got to check. You know, and so we dug in, and that guy was definitely not up to par, you know, and it's, you can just tell not every profession has a ton of reviews, but more and more they will. And chiropractors these days, if you don't have, you know, 100 plus 200 reviews, you know, you're not going to get the lion's share of the business that you want. And if you're okay with that, then that's fine. Don't get reviews.
And if I'm correct, what docs don't realize is the more reviews you have, sort of organically, they're moving up the pages of Google. Is that correct?
It is a ranking factor. I'm certainly not going to say it's the only one.
Not the only, right?
Hundreds of reviews won't get you there if there's everything else is wrong with your listing. But yeah, it's definitely a major player, a major part of it. The other thing about having enough reviews is when a person goes to your reviews, they're going to scan them for a review, not only that says good things about your office, but that it relates to them. What pain do they have? Or what worries do they have? What are the issues that they can go, oh, they just read this review. They helped that person, so they must be able to help me. Now, not only are they coming in because they saw your reviews, they're already pre-sold. They already trust you. They're already like a referral because they've read enough reviews. You should be bombarding them with reviews on every possible opportunity. Your Google listing, your website. When they walk in your door, they should be plastered stickers on your door. When they get into your reception area, the TV that's hanging there, they should be displayed on the TV. When they, go down the hallway, there should be another TV, more reviews. On your business cards, reviews. On your T-shirts, reviews. Everywhere, reviews, because they'll get the picture that people that go to your office win.
And by the way, speaking of reviews, to me, I look at it as almost branding your office as part of it. So when people are searching for a chiropractor, or if you're doing Google reviews or Google AdWords or Facebook ads and so forth, people will see those and they may not come in directly from the ad, but the first thing they do is they look you up. They check your reviews. So,
Right.
so just from seeing that, then they check your reviews and then they make the appointment. So you don't know where it's going to come from. So it's part of your branding in today's world. It just has to be.
It is. If somebody Googles your name, they
Right.
need to see not only your Google listing with all those reviews, they need to see your Yelp page with positive reviews, your Facebook with positive reviews, your own website with the proper markup, like we give people, where it displays the review count as well. Like, you know, the whole, it's all got to be there. It is your brand, 100%.
Right.
So Matt, do you mind if I go in a different direction for a sec? Because here you are, like you said, military brat, doing your thing, you know, sort of finding yourself, and you found yourself in sort of sales, marketing, entrepreneurship. You've built a really significant business in a short amount of time. It's exponential growth. And what we see is sometimes chiropractors sort of stay limited in their vision and stay as that sort of ma and pa shop. I'm just a small town chiro. I make a nice living, like you said, but you've transcended that and created a business, a corporation, something that has long lasting legs and growth and legacy. What clicked for you? How did you find yourself? You weren't, you know, master's level trained in business, and, you know, you didn't go to Harvard Business School as far as I know, or, you know, Wharton or anything. So what clicked for you entrepreneurially, and how can you sort of use what you know about chiropractors in their headspace to get them to maybe think bigger?
Yeah, so it's an interesting story. I mean, we personally went through a few rough years, losing some family members to one to SIDS, one to cancer, one to a hit and run. I mean, it was like year after year, we kind of just kept getting punched. It was a brutal time in my life, and I just kind of sit back and go, something's got to change. Like, you know, we're making great money, but, you know, not super happy. You know, we're plugging along. You know, we've had some losses. Like, what do we really want to do with our life, right? And I just, you know, I was at a men's group of sorts, and sitting there talking to some people, and you know, as I was talking to different people, it was like, you know, they were each like in the same spot. And I said, I got to get out of this spot, because this spot's got me in this room I don't want to be in. And so I said, what do I got to do to pivot and create a legacy? Because I was making good money, you know, had the, you know, the nice house and nice cars and whatever, the, you know, toys that you get in your 30s that you think are gonna, you know, be the end all be all, right? But it was like, you know, I had to pivot for something that just absolutely got me on fire every single day. Something that I was willing to go back into startup mode. Because look, when you're in startup mode and you're, you know, beans and rice, and, you know, you're traveling like crazy and you're working just sick hours, you do that to build a business. And then, you know, I did that the first time, and then I had a successful business. I was like, do I really want to go through the pain of that? But you know, I knew it was time in order to kind of have a rebirth, a recreation of who I was, where I wanted to be, and where I wanted to go. And, you know, when you make it bigger than just, you know, having a good life, you know, you make it that legacy. You make, like, we're going to just literally, you know, we're going to change the world. We're going to do something so big that it does change the world. Right. And it was that was enough of a purpose to get out of my own way, go back into it. You know, I mean, we traveled hard for, you know, 18 months, every single chiropractic event, you know, and then some dental events, some other events. I mean, we were everywhere. And I mean, that's not an easy life, right? It was certainly not an overnight success kind of scenario. It was a lot of hard work, but now it's absolutely amazing as I bring on these new team members and we get to train them. You know, we do training on personal enhancement. We do training on business. You know, it's a very transparent company. They get to learn. And what I'm really excited to see is in, you know, 5, 10, 15 years from now, how many of these guys then go on to create other really big businesses that change things. Because if you look at, you know, PayPal, where they came from eBay, right? And then you look at different, you know, YouTube came from Google, and maybe these aren't the most honest companies, but they're big companies that did a lot of things for the world, right? And so, you know, the impact, it's a massive impact. And that's what, you know, that's, you either want to have a big impact in the world, or you just want to kind of, you know, put along. And I think chiropractors in general are in the putting along phase. But if we could get everybody to go, look, I gotta not only double, I got to triple or quadruple my business so that we can get 50% penetration in the United States of people on active care, right? I mean, the world today, whether you believe chiropractic does anything to the immune system or not, the world today is immune system deficient. And, you know, everybody needs to be healthier. They need to eat, you know, less garbage. They need to do these things. This is the natural health movement that chiropractic's in. And so, you know, you want to do your part to handle the situation we're in. I won't say certain words to upset certain people and get more hate mail, but we got to change the health of the world to get out of the situation of these ridiculous lockdowns and all these other things. Period.
So what would you say to chiropractors? Two things. What would you say to chiropractors coming right out of school? What advice would you give them? And what advice would you give chiropractors who are maybe been around in practice 10, 15, 20 years, as you said, kind of just coasting along, and they've gotten stuck in their comfort zone? What advice would you give to two different
go big fast? I don't care, like whether it's a restart or, you know, whether it's a brand new start, whatever you got to do, you got to go. You got to go fast. What's up, beautiful? Hey, say hi to the world. This is my niece, Emma Jo.
Nice. Hi.
I'll be done in a little bit. We'll take a ride, okay? You got to go big. You got to go big fast. You know, bottom line is the world needs help, and there's a lot of crazies out there, and we got to make it happen. We got to change it for those little ones.
That's right. You know, like you said, it's we have the kids out of school. We call kids anymore. You know, the younger docs out of school, where we know that they already are comfortable with technology. They're not necessarily comfortable with headspace, right? That's what Brett and I do. Is we're right. So Chiro Destiny is working on clearing up limiting beliefs and some of the past programming or the past failures that just don't work for you, or there's prosperity consciousness issues, or the insecurities and lack of certainty that school leaves you maybe clinically prepared, but not business and entrepreneurially prepared. So we've got that on lockdown. Now you're bringing the technology to say, look, we're going to make it that much easier. Let's use Review Wave. Let's make it easy. You've made it affordable. You've made it easy to implement. And now you've got the ability to get new patients easier. And, you know, Brett and I talk about this all the time. All you see, you're spending any time on Facebook at all, it's just new patient, new patient, new patient, new patient, new patient, new patient. Brett and I for 20 years have been singing retention, 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 retention. And yet people still want more new patients. So now between the two of us, between our two companies, we've got it. We've got both sides. All we have to do is continue to help the chiropractors that are a little stuck, a little freaked out about what's happened over the last 6 months. Or like you said, they're in practice 5, 10, 20 years, coasting along, but there's something more in them. We know how to drag it out. We know how to pull it out of them if we could just get them to pick up a phone and ask for help.
Absolutely. There's no doubt you have to ask for help. You have to take people who've been there and done that and are continuing to do that in business, in practice, in life, and get them in your corner. You know, I mean, you know, in the last 12 months, I've spent over $60,000 on coaches that have done things just like that. You know, it's so important to continue to invest in yourself, right? So, you know, if you're new coming out of practice, you know, bootstrap it. I bootstrapped this company. We didn't go out and get millions and millions of dollars from a VC firm. You know, we just figured it out. We funded it. We made some money. We put it back in. I didn't take a paycheck for the first 12 months, you know, because that's what it took in order to build this business. So whether you're living in mom's basement, sometimes that's what it takes, right? But invest in yourself, both in your head as well as your practice, building assets that will continue to produce for you. Reviews is an asset, right? You know, when you learn knowledge is an asset. I mean, the knowledge that I used to build this company, which last year we ranked number 22 on the California Inc. 5000 list. And I can neither confirm nor deny, but there will be a number on the America Inc. 5000 list here coming up in about 30 days. But, you know, to build this legacy, it was continually, you know, investing in myself, in knowledge, in technology, testing, growing. You just never stop. It never stops. If you stop any of that, you're dead.
100%. So I would say, listen, as we come to a close, I know you got to take your kids out. and take care of them, the number one priority. But as we come to a close, I think it's really important that, as you said before, you have to invest in yourself. I think that should be the biggest investment. I think we can all agree on that. Number one is invest in yourself. Get coaching, get help. Let us help you. Let us help you define your purpose, your vision, your mission, where you're going with all this. Whether you're in practice 20 years, 30 years, or just getting into practice, it doesn't matter. Get clear about what that is. Clear out your past. You can move forward once and for all. And then you have to implement the right procedures and systems. And that includes automating everything. And we've learned now, we've been in business, Rick and I, 25, 27, 8 years, between the two of us each. And in coaching hundreds and hundreds of chiropractors, the ones that do the best, it's very simple. They work on themselves, clear out the past, they get the right procedures and systems in place, they understand what it takes to bring in new patients, keep them for the long term, take really good care of their people, their staff, and help to bring them along and train them and so forth. And then you have to bring in my opinion, you have to bring in this whole technological piece to make it more efficient for the public to find you, to get to you, to rave about you, let them be their biggest fans, part of your branding like we talked about. And there's no better company than ReviewWave. And I can tell you, because I've just talked to and probably have been a member of every company out there in the last 10 years. Like as you said before, I paid for it piecemeal. That didn't work. I had 9 different companies going at once trying to make it all work. And 3 years ago when you started, I became a member, because when I looked at it, I said, this has got to be it. And I have to tell you, you've held true to your word. The technology is fantastic. The support is fantastic. You guys support chiropractic. You come from a chiropractic family. You understand our needs and wants. So what's the best way for someone who's never worked with you before? What's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
They should just go to our site and book a demo. Reviewwave.com, book a free demo. Check it out. We take all of the risk away. You get a free demo. If you do decide to sign up with us, you've got a 30-day money-back guarantee. So we completely stand by our product. We know it's going to work. We know it's the perfect solution, and we're here to help.
And you had said, based on the Chiro Destiny people, I think there's a code word that I think they give them some other perk as well.
I think it's Destiny. Is it Destiny or Chiro Destiny? They get best
Destiny.
That's right. It's Destiny, I believe. And so type that in. After you do the demo, you don't have to worry about that, but you let them know. And then, you type that in as the code, and we'll also go ahead and waive the setup fee.
Beautiful. So, look, Matt, we love you, man. You're just young and hungry and in it the same way we are. And we just, kindred spirits, that you're here to help chiros, help other people get well. And, the same way we are. So on behalf of, Brett and the rest of our Chiro Destiny team, but more importantly, on behalf of the profession, we just want to thank you for being a pit bull and being hungry as hell and just not taking no for an answer, and getting yourself in with the other biggest companies that chiropractic's been using for EHR on that side and coaching on that side, and digital media on that side, and in every state organization and every big thing, to be able to make yourself known that chiropractic isn't where it needs to be yet, but with your help, with our help, we're going to get them there. So again, thank you so much for spending time. Go enjoy your family, and hopefully we'll have a lot more people utilizing ReviewWave and Chiro Destiny. Enjoy your family. We're sure this isn't the last of us, and we can't thank you again.
By the way, my new motto that I learned from you tonight is go fast or go home.
There we go. Love it, guys. Appreciate you both. You guys have a great night.
Buddy.
Thanks, Matt. Have a great night. You well. Bye-bye.
Bye.